One of my wife's favorite hobbies is knitting. As a matter of fact, there's knitting paraphernalia in almost every room of the house. We have a chest.
That's not true.
We have, okay, not almost every room. Every room. There's a chest of yarn here. Some handy knitting projects in the living room. And some yarn here on the kitchen counter. And I am an attentive husband. I want to further my wife's interests. And when she expressed to me an interest in something called a swift, I built one for her. And it's really simple to build, and that's kind of the purpose of this video, to show you that you probably have everything in your home to build something that will work as a swift. It's basically just a spinning cross on a base with dowels that go into these holes, and you place the skein, what is it called? Skein of yarn on these dowels, and you wind it onto this other thing that turns. To make this, I had a dowel laying around, which was lucky for me, but you could use felt pins or pencils or something for that. The cross itself is some old door trim that I found. It's 1 1/8 inch wide by 3/4 thick, and I nailed two pieces together because I wanted to drill these holes deep enough that the dowels would be secure, but I didn't want to go all the way through because then they could just extend all the way down through the cross. So I drilled through this piece and then nailed this piece on the bottom so that the dowels couldn't come through. If you had a piece of wood that was over 1 inch by 1 inch square, you could probably just notch the pieces and nail one on top of the other. But this is what I had, so this is what I built. After I nailed my pieces together, these by the way are about 30 inches wide, and the holes are spaced about 2 inches apart. It doesn't need to be exact. It's not a jet turbine or musical instrument or anything. It allows for a little bit of flexibility. But after I nailed all these together, I just drilled a hole in the middle, and I actually inserted a metal sleeve to make it spin a little easier, but you don't need to do that. You can just drill a hole in the middle, but make sure the hole is the same size as a bolt that you may have on hand or that you may buy at the hardware store. In my case, it's I don't even know what size it is. 7/32 or something. It's a little bigger than 1/4 inch thick bolt. And I just bolted it to this piece of plywood. I drilled a hole through the bottom and put the bolt in and tightened it down. You can see the nut there. And I put a spacer down here so that the spinning cross would be raised up above the base a little bit. And then on top of the nut I put this plastic washer that I found. And I don't think the washer has to be plastic. It just has to be kind of a flat surface for this to rest on. I saw one of these made out of an office chair turned upside down, and somebody put some felt pins in it. So there's all kinds of ways to make these if you are a knitting or crocheting enthusiast. And of course these holes are for adjustability if you have a small skein or a large skein. But I think it meets with my wife's approval, and that's what's important. And it has a nice antique look to it because all of the wood is just old scraps that I found. So let's see it in action.
It's scooting along. That's a cake of yarn.
Can I have a slice?